What's going on, y'all? As we know by now, because it did happen today, by the day of this recording is Saturday. Um, Travis Hunter is your 2024 Heisman Award winner. He won it over Dylan Gabriel, Cam Ward, and of course, the man on the screen, Ashton Jeanty. And I wanted to hop on, make a little video today, and just talk about this Heisman race and what has happened. Give you my thoughts on this race, and to be frank, to be blunt, I think that this is bad for college football. I think that Ashton Jeanty losing the Heisman Trophy is bad for college football. I think Travis Hunter is a great player. We'll talk about him into this video as well. I'm not trying to discredit him in any way. He is very Heisman worthy. He is deserving of a Heisman Trophy. But in a season as historical as Ashton Jeanty's, it is hard to pass up on him giving him the Heisman, regardless of what conference he plays in. Now, I just kind of want to, in the background, we're going to put some clip and game film going on in the back. This dude's an absolute stud. I mean, Ashton Jeanty is one of the best prospects we've seen in a long time. And, he's only 5'9", about 215 for the Boise State Broncos, and he just runs over defenses like it's nothing. I mean, you look at this dude's stats, that you look at how this guy has performed in the 2024 season, being able to almost single-handedly carry that Boise State Bronco team through the Mountain West with a 12-1 record. Your only loss on the year is to the number one team in the country, the Oregon Ducks, and in that game, you still perform well. It's hard to not give a man like that a trophy. A Heisman Trophy. I mean, he wins the Maxwell Award. He wins the Doak Award. But still, man, this guy is an incredible player. And, I mean, this is a unreal season. And I get it. The big argument is, well, we've seen running backs like Jeanty before, but we've never seen a player like Travis before. Travis Hunter is an absolute insane player. As I said, I mean, his stats were pretty good on both sides of the ball. He looked great on both sides of the ball. But you can't have this historical of a season from Ashton Jeanty and not give him the Heisman. Let's jump into his stats. How about that? So his stats are going to start with 344 carries, 2,497 yards, 29 touchdowns, 7.3 yards a carry. He's also got 30 total touchdowns because he has a receiving touchdown as well. And another thing I want to point out, his yards after contact. It's not on this screen, but he has 1,889 yards after contact, which is second in the country. Second in the country in rushing yards. He has more rushing yards after contact than any other running back in the country. Amarian Hampton has about 1,660, and that's who's in second place. And I don't know. If you have a guy like Ashton Jeanty who is first place in carries, yards, touchdowns, total touchdowns, yards from scrimmage, all that stuff, and then top three in average, because I believe it was Marshall's running back who led the league in average, and then one other person I think had 7.6 with a smaller sample size. But, you get what I'm saying? Number one in like every category. It's really hard to say, hey, that's not a Heisman candidate. That's not a Heisman contender or a Heisman frontrunner. And I mean, obviously, yeah, he does go to Boise State. That's a big thing that people will talk about is, he goes to Boise State. He's playing against bad JV teams. It does not matter. Now, I remember this one stat stood with me the most. Teams had to stick 9 guys in the box to be able to stop this guy. He was averaging 7.9 yards a carry with 8 people in the box, over 8 yards a carry with 7 people in the box, and about 10 or 11 yards per carry with 6. That is insane. Teams game plan for this man, and their only job is if we stop him, Boise State's done for. And they still can. His worst game, let's go look at his game log. His worst game this season, I would say, not the Portland State game, because he only played one half. 127 yards and 11 carries in one half is unbelievable. It is his UNLV game. His only game of the season where he went under 4 yards a carry with 3.9. He had 2 games on the year where he was under 5 yards a carry, where instead of it taking him 2 plays to get a first down, it took him 3. And in that UNLV game, he had 33 carries for 128 yards and a touchdown and 11 receiving yards. 139 total yards and a touchdown in your worst game of the season is unreal, dude. Unreal. And then he went back and he did it against UNLV anyways the very next time. 32 carries for 209 yards and a touchdown and 14 receiving yards. He said, "Oh, this team shut me down. You guys say they shut me down? Okay, well, let me just go beat them up real quick." It's something I've never even seen. It's something that's unheard of. And I mean, you look at that game against Wyoming. I think Wyoming was when he had his big Heisman moment. He had a little bit of a nagging injury. He goes into the game against Wyoming when the team is trailing, and he carries the ball down. I think 4 carries, 51 yards, gets him into a situation to be able to take the lead, and Boise State wins the game. If Boise State loses that game, they're out of the playoff. They are completely out of the playoff, unless maybe they still make it from winning the Mountain West, which they probably might have still made it. But they are very, very close to zero when it comes to making the playoff if they lose that game against Wyoming. And Ashton Jeanty put the team on his back there, and he's been doing it all season. I'm not trying to discredit Boise State because Boise State's been a great team. I think Maddox Madsen has done his job at quarterback for the Broncos, and their defense has had a great season. But Ashton Jeanty in 344 carries, which is the same amount of carries that Barry Sanders had in his record-breaking year in 11 games, may I add. Ashton Jeanty in 13 games has 344. Jeanty is only 132 yards behind Barry Sanders. And Barry Sanders is one of the best running backs of all time. And I think it's very hard to discredit him because of his carries, because he has 344 carries. You can't discredit the guy for having that many carries, because do you expect Boise State not to use their best player in football? Like, you don't expect them to use the best player in college? And 30 carries is insane. 30 carries is insane. 7.3 yards a carry, dude. He's getting down the field. He's getting to the other side of the 50. You could start him at the 1-yard line, and he's getting there in 7 plays. He's getting to the 50-yard line in 7 plays. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. 7 plays by himself. 29 touchdowns as well, man. I don't know. I think it's something that screams Heisman winner. And as I said, Travis Hunter, great season. Here's some of his splits, Some of his splits, home and away, almost nearly identical. He's been nearly identical on the road, at home. He's actually been better, slightly better maybe on the road, A little less yards per carry. One more touchdown. He's been good on the road, and a receiving touchdown. And if you're wondering if I'm looking over here, I got this stuff you're looking at is in my monitor right next to me on the left. And then here's my thing: against top 25 teams, obviously that's Oregon, and I believe it is UNLV still. I think they are still ranked. 57 carries, 401 yards, 4 touchdowns. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Maybe it's somebody else other than UNLV, but that's pretty good, man. That's real good. 7 yards a carry, 75 long. Man, generational running back or a generational athlete. That's what this Heisman was. Travis Hunter, let's look at him. 92 catches, 1,152 yards, 14 touchdowns, 12.5 yards a reception. This dude is a fantastic athlete. Don't get me wrong. I love Travis Hunter as a football player. He's a great football player. He's a pretty funny dude in real life too. I've from all the stream clips and everything. He's been very good this season. Another thing I want to point out. I don't know if he deserved the Bednarik Award. I don't know if he deserved the Blitnikoff. He is the advanced stat winner when it comes to the Blitnikoff. A third, a fourth of Nick Nash's yards, I think, came against FCS schools, which is why people could be a little skeptical of it. He also had 180 targets compared to Hunter's, I believe, 118. So, yes, Hunter had the better catch rate. But, man, I just think This guy had a great year. I mean, look, he had 4 interceptions, a forced fumble, 11 passes defended, or yeah, pass deflections. 31 total tackles, and then those receiving stats. That's a very, very good season. That's a very, very good season. But to be able to give the award for best player in college football to a player who is, around top 5 to top 15 to top 20 to top 30 and hit every stat, over a guy that is literally dominating every single aspect of the game when it comes to his position, is, in my opinion, laughable. It's very laughable. Now, and same thing with the awards. With the Nick Nash, even though I said what I said, about that, wins the Triple Crown, 4th time in college football history, and you give it to Travis Hunter, who has the least amount of receiving yards and I think second in touchdowns when it comes to the 3 finalists. You look at the Bednarik. You look at Travis Hunter. It was Caleb Downs, Abdul Carter. Travis Hunter, he's a great athlete, but does 11 pass deflections and 4 interceptions scream defensive player of the year to you? I look at that and I go, wow, that's a pretty good player. That ain't defensive player of the year award worthy, but yeah, that's a good player. But yeah, I don't know. It's a little crazy to me. I think it's a little out of proportion for him to be winning those awards. Over a guy like Ashton Jeanty, maybe Abdul Carter, I think is who I'd maybe give it to a little bit more for the Bednarik, because he makes impacts without getting to the quarterback. And he already had 10 sacks on the year this season. But yeah, I just wanted to make this short video talking about this, man. I think Ashton Jeanty was very deserving of the Heisman. Travis Hunter was also very deserving of the Heisman. I'm glad that it wasn't a quarterback this year, let me tell you that. But Hunter's a fantastic athlete. But I do think that people give him too much credit for the cardio thing. I think, as people call him, the cardio king. I don't think playing both sides of the ball should be the main reason why you playing both sides of the ball being good at both sides of the ball should not be the main reason that you beat a guy who is literally about to break the record for rushing yards in the season. I think that's not a legit resume. I don't think that's a very legit reason to win the Heisman Award. But congratulations to Travis Hunter for winning the Heisman Award, and Ashton Jeanty and Travis Hunter. They're both great players. But I'm excited to watch Ashton Jeanty in the playoffs. I don't know if I'll be watching the Colorado Bowl game. I don't know if there's going to be a lot of other bowl games going on. I haven't checked the schedule, so maybe my team might be playing the same time as Colorado, but they'll be in a good fun bowl game against BYU. But I know I'll be watching the Fiesta Bowl because the College Football Playoff. I got to be able to keep myself updated with the College Football Playoff. But that's going to be it for this one. I just wanted to hop on here and do that real quick. If you watched and listened to the whole thing, I appreciate you. Just put a like down if you liked the video. Comment down below what you thought about the Heisman race. Do you think Jeanty was robbed like me? Or did you think Travis deserved it? You think Travis was the better player out of the two? Anyways, we'll see y'all in the next one. Mock draft coming soon. I said that in the last video, and then I just kind of delayed it a little bit more and more. I just kind of want to make more of a updating my knowledge on these guys to be able to not be super similar to what the last mock draft was. It's almost been a month, so it'll be coming out real soon. And with that being said, subscribe for more, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.